All right, testing 1 2, testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. I like the music in this game. Hey, Tony, how are you doing? Have you played this before, Tony? But on that note, welcome everyone to yet another stream. Thursday stream. Probably gonna wait a few minutes before I start. You know, let the people trickle in. I just had a little bit of pizza that I bought from the store, and I just baked. And then I've got my usual monster drink next to me. So what the plan is tonight is we're gonna play some Extreme G3. You know, on the heels of F-Zero X and F-Zero GX, we're gonna do some XG3 as they call it. And yeah, I didn't actually play the N64 Extreme Gs very much. I mean, I tried to get into them, they just never really grabbed me. Combination of the frame rates, the controls, the course design. But Extreme G3 I played a lot back in the day. I thought it was a really solid futuristic racing game, and it definitely fit the bill when it came to futuristic racers, and at the time not having an F-Zero game. So this game came out in either 2001 or 2002. I think it might have been 2001 on PS2, and then maybe early 2002 on GameCube. Let's look at the copyright date on the box. 2001. Wow, so this must have come out not at launch of the GameCube, but it must have come out in that first month, because the copyright date is 2001. Fantastic game for 2001. PlayStation 2 version, maybe not so much, because it's got you know, frame rate issues and anti-aliasing issues, but the GameCube version runs at a slick 60 FPS, and it's got anti-aliasing, and just it looks beautiful. Not up to F-Zero GX standards, but it still looks great, especially for a 2001 release. So yeah, before people trickle in, this is for the people on the archive watching. As usual, got to give a shout out to the Patreon, current Patreon backers. So let's go ahead and switch over to them. Don't mind me if I'm just stuttering all over the place. I kind of half-assedly put together this stream at the last second, as I've been doing recently. But thank you folks for your continued support on Patreon. And as usual, guys, if you want to know how to back this show on Patreon, you can check the description box below. So thanks, jeez, I can't even talk today. Thank you once again, guys, for your support. And so we got Miku, we got Tony, and we got Extreme G3. Tony had a ton of pizza yesterday, and he had a free pizza from Domino's with points, and they ended up kind of burning it a little. Not bad, but I told them to make it again, and they let me keep the first one, so I have a lot of Domino's pizza. Oh wow, Tony. Yeah, I've been ordering Domino's the last few weeks because I've had some people over. Like on last Friday, I had people over for pinball. I ordered pizza. The week before that, I had someone else over from pinball, so I ordered pizza. And I always order pizza from Domino's because it's cheap, I get it quickly. And like you said, they got the rewards program, so you slowly work towards free pizza, and I actually have a free pizza I can cash in. So I like to save the free pizzas for when like I'm feeling a little tight on money, and I just want some quick and easy food. Usually when I'm doing something like streaming or something like that. So yeah, we are live. All right, so let me go ahead and get my headphones on here, and then I'll jump into the game. We'll go through the options and stuff like that. Yeah, exactly, Tony. It's cheap and it's good. I mean, you can get more expensive, like, full-size pizzas, but, I mean, honestly, if you're just, like, a single dude, it's kind of hard to beat the $6 medium pizzas, you know, especially when they come right out of the oven. It's so good for the price. It doesn't, like, it's cheap pizza, it doesn't taste like cheap pizza. I don't know, that's just me. The free pizza is your emergency pizza, yep. Exactly, Tony. That's kind of how I feel about it as well. Alright, so let's go to the options. So I actually, you know, between last week's GameCube stream and this week's GameCube stream, I actually went out to the store and picked up one of the Smash Brothers GameCube controllers. Basically, they're, you know, the GameCube controllers Nintendo released for Smash Brothers on Wii U, and so it's only a couple of years old, so I got a nice newish snappy controller. It was a pre-owned controller, but you can tell it was in good shape and probably hadn't been used all that much. So let's turn that rumble feature off. Accelerate is A. Y fires your weapon. A Y is the button that's directly above. I don't play the GameCube as much as I should. Although that's probably going to change because I picked up a bunch of GameCube games over the last, you know, couple of weeks. Yeah, it doesn't taste like cheap Little Caesars, totally, Tony. Like, Little Caesars, it tastes like cheap pizza. But Domino's doesn't really taste like cheap pizza. At least not compared to Little Caesars, I guess. Like, cheap pizza to me, like, tasting cheap is Little Caesars. It's the stuff you can get from, convenience stores like 7-Eleven is a big one that we have in this area. Stuff like that, you know, that's cheap pizza, and the price is only like $1 or $2 less at those places. It's not like you're saving a whole lot of money. So the $6 mediums at Domino's is just too good of a deal. And what I usually do is I up the price by $1, and I get like the $8 medium pan pizza. That's my jam, man. Oh, that medium pan pizza, just cheese and sauce with extra cheese right out of the oven. It's like bliss in my mouth. Little Caesars is borderline ugh. So weapon up is Z, right air brake, left air brake. Those are basically like your sharp turning functions. And turbo is X. Okay. Rear view. Okay, so if I want to actually brake, I probably just do L and R together, I'm guessing. Thought I had save data on here, but I do. Okay. What we're going to do is we're not going to do that. We're going to start a brand new game. Alright, we'll skip that. Hey, Georgia, how are you doing? Any luck on finding a PAL cube? No, Tony. I'm probably not going to do it, man. I'm not really worried about it. I mean, if I really want better picture quality, I'll just do some GameCube games on my Wii. I mean, I'd like to have a PAL GameCube because then I could use the Game Boy player and do that through RGB. But you know, it's not really a big deal. Alright, so we'll do save data. And we'll create a new file. As usual, we will do something like live stream. I don't know how many characters we have here, but we'll find out. Live S. Okay. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Alright, you know what? Screw it. There we go. Hey, John Gaines. I love Papa John's, but it's too expensive for the... Yeah, it's too expensive. I mean, so I don't order Papa John's very much, especially delivery. Like, you get delivery, it's like 16 bucks for a large or something like that. Maybe a little bit cheaper, but... And then you add in tip and then delivery charge. It's just like, it's like 20 bucks for a single pizza. I can get 3 pizzas at Domino's, 3 medium pizzas for the exact same price, and the quality is pretty comparable. Georgia loves Little Caesars and eats it every week. I hope I'm not making everyone else out there watching the archive too hungry. So if you get hungry, I apologize, guys. Hey, MT Shark, how you doing, man? Two controllers, 6 games for under 200. Wait, what? What are we talking about? Oh, Japanese PS3 2 days ago. Oh, congrats, Miku. Yeah, because PS3 is not region free, is it? Or is it region free? I don't remember. But Tony, to be fair, you're always hungry. What is the... Oh, that's right, you can buy stuff in this game, but you start with no money. Okay. Yeah, so Extreme G is a series where you do attack, kind of like Wipeout. But the attacking works differently than Wipeout. It's a good thing you're full, yeah. Alright, so let's jump into this. Alright, first track. PS3 games are region free. Okay. Why did you get a Japanese PS3, Miku? Did you just collecting or something, or was there any particular reason you wanted to get a Japanese one?
Extreme G race fans, welcome to Muon Harbor. Riders, prepare to race.
Oh, that's right. PS1 games are region locked still, right? That's so weird. You can boost now. Okay. You can boost and attack. They basically have one weapon to start off with. It's just this laser. Or this pistol, rifle, whatever you want to call it. And it can actually be pretty decent if you're able to, you know, stay behind a character for an extended period of time. Like, this track is it's a long oval track. Lots of long straightaways. It's a good, like, beginner's introduction track. And you've got your shield, just like an F-Zero, and you use, or F-Zero X, I should say, you use your shield as boost as well. And so I'm boosting. Forgot how fast this game gets. And this is just the first cup. Once we go up in classes, we start breaking the sound barrier and things like that. It's really cool. Can't figure out how much shield I have, though. Oh, I ran out. See, that's not good. And this will refill my ammunition. Unfortunately, it doesn't refill your stuff nearly as fast as it does in F-Zero. Was Firepower 2000 hard to play? No, not really. It's a pretty smooth playing game. I like it a lot. It's just, if you guys watch my Let's Play, I just was not paying attention. And so I died like crazy. Oh, I got second place. I would have actually got first, but I intentionally braked to try to shoot that guy, but I didn't realize I was out of ammo. Yeah, this game is awesome, guys. If you have a GameCube and you like futuristic racing games, it's pretty much a must-buy. I mean, I'm not here to try to sell the game, but I can't help, like, you know... can't help like praising the game and making it sound like something you would want to buy, because it really is an awesome futuristic racing game. So basically, kind of how I would look at it, you've got the F-Zero series, you've got Wipeout, and then you've got this. I think they all go hand in hand together. Now, the other games in the Extreme G series, you could do without, but this one is definitely one you want to play if you like futuristic racing games. Especially if you prefer like the F-Zero style, because it definitely takes influences from F-Zero, F-Zero X specifically. But yeah, this game is so cheap too. Like, it really surprises me. You know, lots of GameCube games have like risen in price, but there's a lot of really good stuff on the system still that you can get cheap. And the GameCube versions are oftentimes the best versions of the game. So, in the case of Extreme G3, it's by far the best version to have. You know, there's only two versions of this, PS2 and GameCube. The GameCube one just wipes the floor of the PS2 version in terms of frame rate, smoothness of the visuals, and even the controls. I mean, the GameCube controller, the analog stick on the Cube, I think it's much tighter than the analog stick on the PS2, and so it's easier to finesse your movement. And that was a big point of mine with F-Zero X on N64, is that that analog stick on the 64 was so good with its tension for that kind of game, and that's kind of how the GameCube controller is as well. And so if you're going to play Extreme G3, it's like, don't even bother with the PS2 one, just get the GameCube one, and the price is comparable. You know, this is a sub $10 game. I think I paid like $6 for my copy. Granted, I've had this copy for a few years now, because there's, I mean, even when I go through times where like I feel like I need to sell some of my collection just to recoup some money or pay off like a credit card or something, I always hold on to Extreme G3 because it's not worth getting rid of. Like, it's a really good game, and I'm only gonna get like $1 or $2 if I try to resell it to someone. Okay, probably an exaggeration. I'd probably get the $5 or $6 if I put it up on like a forum or something, but still, it's for the amount of gameplay you get, it's not worth getting rid of for that price. It's totally worth buying for that price, though. I mean, even if it was like a $15 or $20 game, I would still recommend it. So kind of like Wipeout, you can also like veer your ship up and down, I believe. And it's a little hard to see, but you do see your vehicle moving a little bit. backwards. Like if I hold back on the analog stick, and I'm not sure if that actually helps you get up hills or go down hills faster. But when I'm going down a hill, a lot of times I'll hold up so my vehicle veers downwards, and when I'm going up a hill, I sort of veer back on the vehicle. So it feels like it kind of helps, but I don't know if it actually does. I don't know. MT Shark will be back later. Extreme G2 for N64. So what I'm gonna have to do is revisit the N64 ones and see kind of how they hold up. Maybe I just didn't give them enough of a chance back in the day. I do know that Extreme G Part 1 in particular was pretty popular back in the day. I know a lot of people that had that game. Now, another one I did actually play a lot was XGRA. And surprisingly, I actually played through it on PS2, because at the time of buying it, it was the cheapest version to get, and I think I only paid like a couple bucks for it. And it's an interesting game, but it operates a little bit differently. It gets, the controls are much more like power slidey, and, or I should say like, how your bike's handle is more power slidey. And while I liked XGRA, it's there's some things that I didn't like as much as XG3. Like, they tried implementing this constant story in the game. Your characters and opponents, they constantly like berate each other in the tracks, and I always thought that sort of thing was just dumb, particularly in racing games. Fortunately, you can turn off their voice acting, so you don't really have to see or hear what they say. But I think their portraits still pop up on the screen as you're racing and things like that. It's been a little while since I played that one. I'll have to give it another try. I think I might have it either on the original Xbox. If not, I'll have to pick it up on the GameCube. That's actually another example of the GameCube version being better. It's actually better than the Xbox version, believe it or not. Usually I would say the Xbox versions are the best of those multi-platform releases back then. But the original Xbox never got a port of Extreme G3, and XGRA, which is kind of gimped on the original Xbox. Like, the graphics were really muddy, and I think it even had some frame rate issues as well, which was really weird. Whereas the GameCube version, if I recall correctly, it was like 60 FPS the entire time, and it had smoother looking visuals, which was kind of weird. So I'll have to pick up XGRA sometime on GameCube as well, but the weapon system was totally different in XGRA. You would pick up these orbs on the playfield, kind of like Fast Racing Neo, actually. But the orbs would be, were the orbs? I think the orbs were like for your weapon powers in that game. It was weird, but it would get really, really fast, and there was still some cool stage design. The biggest thing about it, though, which is kind of jarring after coming from Extreme G3, is that it used licensed music. I mean, this uses licensed music too, technically, but it's all instrumental stuff for the most part. So it doesn't, you don't, like, unless you really dig into, like, the music catalog and research the artists, it just sounds like, you know, something that could have been made specifically for this game. Whereas half the soundtrack on XGRA was by BT, who is an electronic music artist. And I actually love his stuff. I've got most of his albums up through, like, you know, 2007 or so. But it seems like it almost doesn't fit, because they're lyrical, and yeah, it just doesn't seem to fit. But then you've also got a rock mix, which is the other half of the soundtrack, and that's made up by Cell Dweller, which is actually how I found out about Cell Dweller, believe it or not. And so I bought a bunch of his albums, and so for that purpose, it was cool seeing his licensed music in there. But also, it just kind of didn't really fit either. And there was some other, like, you know, punk rock in there as well. And it was weird compared to, like, this. This sounds like more of a soundtrack you'd hear in something like Wipeout, which Wipeout also used a lot of licensed music back in the day as well. But it was a lot of, like, underground electronic dance music that wasn't too pop-oriented, if you know what I mean. And that's what this soundtrack here is like, and I dig that for this style of game. So I don't recommend XGRA. If you like, I don't recommend it like I recommend this one. But it is still a cool game if you can get past some of that stuff and just get used to it. It does get extremely fast. That is one of the cool things about XGRA, and I think you can break the sound barrier in that game as well, just like this one. Yeah, I don't know if, you see, the GameCube is kind of a weird platform for me. Like, I don't know if I really feel it's underrated. Like, I don't think the GameCube's underrated, honestly. I go to Starland, I look through their entire library of games, looking for new games to pick up, and it's like, the GameCube either has Nintendo games, or it's got lots of third-party games that were released on every system back then. And in a lot of cases, like, I don't want to buy them on GameCube because I can just buy them on Xbox where they're superior. Some of them might even play at 720p or 1080i or something like that. But there are certain cases, you know, where some third-party games are the best on GameCube, and this is one of those cases. Well, never got a port to Xbox. We never know how that one would have turned out since it doesn't exist. And the Nintendo stuff, like the first-party stuff, is obviously great, but it's so expensive now. I don't even know why. So, and even some of it's like other heavy-hitter third-party games, like Ikaruga, you can get on other systems, and it's just, I don't know. It doesn't have as much to pick from, in my eyes, as like the original Xbox. It doesn't have as much to pick from that's unique as you've got on, say, the original Xbox or the PlayStation 2. It's still an awesome system. I think everyone should own a GameCube that enjoys that era of gaming. But I don't think it's underrated, you know. Oh, Tony, no, the GameCube wipes the floor with PS2. In terms of visuals, in terms it's technically a more powerful console. It's got better graphics architecture. It's most certainly better than the PlayStation 2 in that regard, and it's pretty even with the original Xbox from what teardowns have shown. And the hardware's pretty different from the original Xbox, but when people get nitty gritty with the hardware, apparently it can really hold its own with the original Xbox as well. Well, yeah, the GameCube, had a great, GPU. It had, just great hardware, and, they ended up basically just reusing it for the Wii, beefing it up slightly, and it still held its own with the Wii, which was pretty cool. So, oh yeah, Wario World actually is what it's called. I picked that up last week. It's developed by Treasure. And that's, yeah, really cool game. I'm looking forward to playing that more on stream. I probably should go with the higher... I do need that. I need the shield boost, I need the shield scoop, and the weapon scoop, and the ammo bank. But I'm gonna guess I should probably go with the engine first, assuming I can do it. 300G engine, price, yeah, I might as well. And we're gonna skip out on these other weapons, I don't really care that much. Let's go ahead and save data again. Georgia, technically, screen resolution has improved significantly with 4K becoming standard now. 4K is, well, it's 4 times 1080p basically, and 1080i is, you can basically look at it as like 720p. It's And 720p actually looks better than 1080i in most cases. So it's actually come quite a ways, but it is interesting to think that even back in like 2001, they were thinking about that. They were thinking that far ahead for the consumer television, which is really cool. I didn't personally have an HD TV until 2012 when I moved out. My mom gave me her old HD CRT, and I don't even have a modern flat screen HD panel display as my main television until 2013 after I got the Xbox One. Actually, no, I think I bought the TV first, and then I bought the Xbox One. Hey, Larry G, how are you doing?
Riders, prepare to race.
But I know people that had like HD CRTs and when the original Xbox 360 came out, sorry, 2005, that era of console is where the resolution boost really got a massive push. Really got a massive push back then. But it's cool to know that those higher resolutions were still around. I mean, they were around before that on PCs, but and in the professional arena, like professional monitors. But the thing that like 720p on a home television was a thing back in 2001 or so. It's probably just really high-end sets back then, though, I would guess. Oh, he's almost dead now. Oh, you got the shield pickups. And I'm out of ammo now, too. What lap are we on? We're on lap 2. Okay, so bottom left-hand corner is where your laps are. It's only 2 laps right now. I'm pretty sure later on it goes up higher than that. And what I found is when you're boosting this game, you just want to boost. You want to taper the boost. You would just want to tap it, basically. Nice, we got it. Hey, Mighty Squirrel! Yeah, Miku, you can shoot, of course. I've just got the stock laser right now, but you can get mines that go behind you. You can get a railgun. You can get rockets. There might be a couple of other weapons too. I'm missing. Yeah, Tony, you buy stronger weapons. You can also buy larger ammo capacity, and you can also buy these weapon and shield scoops, which allow you to scoop up more shield energy and weapon energy when you're, you know, going across the areas that let you replenish that. So let me actually see how much money I have, because I want to get those. I want to get the shield scoops. Oh yeah, I'm there with you, Georgia. I've had multiple CRTs now over the years. I've had multiple HD CRTs, and they are extremely heavy. I mean, my last one I had to carry up the stairs with another person on a dolly. Like, there was no way we were going to get that up the stairs. It was that heavy. So... Alright, shield scoop. We got it. So that's gonna... You know, shield scoop is probably the most important, I'd say, because, you know, your shield is your boost, just like an F-Zero X. And I'm gonna save it, I'm gonna keep saving it after every little change, just in case all hell breaks loose and something resets or something, or the game crashes. I don't think the game will crash, but still, better safe than sorry. Oh man, Tony, if you had them and they were only 100 pounds, you got lucky, because mine was like almost 300 pounds. Yeah, I mean, it was maybe not 300, maybe more like 200 to 250. It was insane. And absolutely insane. Having to move it like you're moving an appliance or something, it's just like, ugh. It's really not worth it, honestly. HD CRTs are cool, but it's... Unless you're getting like a relatively small one that isn't too hard to move and doesn't take up half of a room, it's, you know, they're not really necessary. Just use a modern HD flat panel for HD stuff, and then just use an older standard def tube for standard definition stuff. Or if you're lucky like Tony or myself and you got a professional video monitor, then use that for old video stuff. Or I actually have multiple Trinitrons from the early 2000s, 2001 and 2002 specifically. And the one in my bedroom, not my bedroom, my game room here is the one I've had since 2002. That my parents bought me for one of my birthdays back then. It's 25 inches, it's got a good picture, even with composite. It does S-video, it's still pretty sharp, and so it gets the job done. I technically don't really need anything else other than that for the retro stuff, but I do. I've got a nice upscaler for the streams and YouTube. I got the professional video monitor, and then a friend also gave me another Trinitron a couple of months ago, actually about a month ago, and it has component on it. So I'm looking forward to trying that out and seeing how systems like PS2 and Xbox look through component on it. It's not an HD set, and it's not an ED TV either. Just a standard Trinitron that happens to have components, so... Yeah, so funny little story here is, I don't think I've told many people this, is, this was actually the first game I got with my GameCube back in the day. So I bought a GameCube when I was working at FuncoLand in 2002. My manager had told me that they got a used GameCube in, it had the box and everything with it. And since the GameCube was only like... God, the GameCube wasn't that expensive. Was the GameCube only like 150 bucks when it came out? Or was it less than that? I don't remember. But used GameCubes at FuncoLand weren't that expensive. And at the time, you could get your employee discount on consoles, used consoles back then. I don't know if that still applies at the current GameStop. And so what I did is I ended up trading in a bunch of stuff and going up to the store to get the GameCube one night. And I think the employee discount back then was also something crazy, like 25 or 30% off. I think the discount was pretty good back then. And I think I ended up getting the GameCube, like, it hadn't even been out for a whole year yet. And I think I ended up getting it for like 80 bucks or something. And Extreme G3 was already pretty cheap. I think I paid like $12 for my copy of Extreme G3, like not even a year after it was out. And yeah, so I ended up getting the GameCube less than a year after it was out. And with Extreme G3 for under 100 bucks. And so yeah, this was actually my very first GameCube game. I can't remember, did I get a memory card with it at first? I don't remember. I want to say I did, because I played the game a lot, you know. I played the game a lot. I must have gotten a cheap memory card, 5.9 or something like that. I just don't remember at this point. But yeah, I always forget about that story too, because, you know, I bought a PlayStation 2 within that first year it was out. I bought an original Xbox on day one, but the GameCube I didn't really pay attention to. You know, the library was noticeably small compared to even like the original Xbox. And since I had both the original Xbox and the PlayStation 2, it definitely wasn't as much on my radar. It's kind of like I am right now with the PlayStation 4. Like, I've got Nintendo system and I've got Microsoft system, and so Sony system is just kind of like not really on my radar. You know, I only have so much time, and having 3 modern systems is kind of redundant for me right now. Even though the PlayStation 4 has the largest library, so I'm probably doing myself a disservice in that regard. But that's kind of how the GameCube was for me back then. But when I saw that we got one of the GameCubes in used, and it was going to be really cheap after the discount, I was like, I'm gonna get it. And so I traded in a bunch of stuff, and got the GameCube with Extreme G3. So this was actually my very first GameCube game that I ever purchased. Yeah, for GameCubes were eventually $100, absolutely. But when they first came out, I'm pretty sure they were like 150 at least. But no, there was definitely a time when they were $100, absolutely. Tales of Symphonia was Miku's first GameCube game. We're gonna go with the engine upgrade. Georgia remembers renting Tales of Symphonia and enjoying it. The first GameCube game was Pikmin. Nice. My games are always more obscure things. Well, see, back then I was very much a cheap gamer. And I got that from the 90s where, you know, I didn't have a job till 11th grade in high school. And so my parents would give me a weekly allowance. It was like $5 a week at one point in time. And then I think as I got a little bit older, they started giving me $10 a week. Especially since I was doing a lot more chores around the house on a daily basis. And so the tradition would be to go to like Toys R Us or something like that whenever I got my allowance. I was the kind of person where I didn't save my money. I just blew my money. And, you know, and my dad let me do this. He let me spend my money how I wanted. And maybe that wasn't the best on his part. But maybe if he didn't let me do that, I wouldn't be here now streaming for you guys. But we'd go to Toys R Us, and, you know, a kid with $10 that's not a whole lot to work with. So I would go, and for me, it was like quantity over quality back then. I'd just go buy the $5 and $10 games every week. And that kind of stuck with me, you know, into the early 2000s when, and even later, when like my money was still tight. Like when I was working at Funkoland, I think I was making minimum wage. And so minimum wage back then, I think might have just hit $7 or something if I was lucky. I think it was just like $6.75 or something. And so I, you know, I bought the cheap stuff basically, and that's how I ended up discovering a lot of like the obscure stuff I know about, because it was the stuff that a lot of people passed on back in the day. But it doesn't mean it doesn't mean a lot of it was bad. There's a lot of great obscure stuff, like, and I wouldn't even call Extreme G3 obscure. I remember it getting good ratings back in the day, and I heard a couple people talked about it. But after a certain point, people just kind of forgot about it. But I didn't forget about it, because I picked it up, my first GameCube game. It was cheap. You know, that cheap mentality was still there with me. And I ended up discovering a lot of great games through kind of being cheap for a long time with my gaming purchases and whatnot. But yeah, being cheap, funny enough, was just how I experienced a lot of the really cool stuff on the Sega CD, the 32X, you know, the Sega Saturn, even the PS1. There was a lot of stuff I picked up that was under $10, $10 or less. Basically, I'd get my allowance money, I'd go up to Toys R Us and buy a game. And back then, so much stuff was being liquidated, you could get a lot of really good games too for that price. I remember buying Space Harrier brand new for the 32X for $10. Things like that. You know, I ended up getting Galactic Attack on Saturn for $10. Darius Gaiden for $10. Solar Eclipse was $10. These were all brand new sealed, still at Toys R Us, you know, back then. Viewpoint on PS1, $10 sealed. Just lots of really good stuff. Tempest X3, $10 sealed. The list goes on, and of course there's the Jaguar stuff. When that stuff got liquidated, $10 a pop. 3DO stuff was like a dime a dozen. It was a good time to be a very thrifty gamer. And that's definitely carried over with me, you know, into my adulthood. But now that I've actually got more money to myself, or at least I bring in more money, much more money each month, I can afford to splurge on expensive things. Like I just dropped like $70 on a boxed Castlevania for the NES yesterday. Like I can do that stuff now and not really bat an eye, you know, whereas back then if I had $70 on me, you bet your ass I probably would have walked out with like 10 games for 70 instead of one. You know what I mean? So, but that's kind of like where a lot of my, I don't want to say tastes in gaming came from, but it's where a lot of my experience came from. It was from being that kid that didn't have a whole lot of money, who was just buying games with his allowance, and would go for the quantity over quality route. Now, there was a lot of stuff I bought that also wasn't very good, although I didn't realize it until, in recent years. Like Racing Aces on Sega CD is a great example. I didn't realize that game ran at like 2 frames a second back then. I still played the hell out of it, and I think it was like a $5 purchase brand new when I got it. But when I go back to play it now, it's unplayable. I don't even know how I played it back then. But it's something I experienced, and it's something I can talk about, and there's a lot of experiences like that. Hell, there's a time where I even bought the Make My Video games on Sega CD. I think they were like $2 at Toys R Us, brand new sealed. I just couldn't give away those things, and I bought them. I bought the Marky Mark one. That's the one I had. I didn't buy the other ones because I didn't have them, but I mean. And I played it. It was actually kind of crap even back then, but I played it. And I would never do that now. Maybe I would if beer and Twitch streaming was involved. Maybe I would play it. But I wouldn't play it normally now. Hey, Major Havoc. Didn't see you out there, man. It was launched at $199. Okay. Yeah, I thought it was something like $200, Tony. Yeah, so I mean, when I got the GameCube, I just got a really good price on it. You know what? I think my manager might have hooked me up with something. Like, I think he did something to make the system like super cheap for me. Like, I don't know if he had like a special managerial discount and he applied it to my purchase. But it was under, I'm pretty sure it was under $100 for a used console. a good used console boxed and everything with Extreme G3. Good times. Little Samson is overrated. I knew I liked you, Tony. Hey Marcelo, yeah, really nice looking visuals in this game. I mean, for 2001, this is a great looking game. It's not the most detailed looking game, but you know, the environments are pretty expansive, and it's always 60 FPS too, which is nice. I'm looking forward to breaking the sound barrier. Yeah, Stocklock, I'm there with you, man, but sometimes I will admit, the old collecting bug gets to me, and I start buying some stuff I technically don't really need. Like that box Castlevania I bought the other day. I don't need that. Like, I actually, especially for what I paid, I absolutely don't need it. And I could already play it on the flash cart. But I did it anyway, you know, so there are still some times where I'm like, I still want to collect a little bit, but I'm not, I don't know. I do highly recommend the flash cart route for people that don't want to deal with these expensive prices in retro gaming. And that's why I got flash carts, especially when money was much tighter for me. And it still is somewhat tight, but it's not as tight as it used to be. You know, flash carts allowed me to play all those games that, even the cheap games, I wouldn't be able to have been able to afford just because of how tight my financial situation was at, you know, not too long ago. And you know, flash carts have absolutely saved you know, my gaming hobby. It's saved my channels, really, you know, Twitch and YouTube. I absolutely would not have been able to do as much content without those flash carts as consistently as I have. So yeah, Tony, if you really have an original Castlevania manual, that would be, oh, that would be sweet, my friend. Because I could turn that into a complete Castlevania. I had a near complete Castlevania collection, all the games boxed. I think all I was missing really was the X68000 release boxed, as well as the second two Game Boy games boxed. So Castlevania 2, Belmont's Revenge, and actually no, I think I might have gotten Belmont's Revenge. I think it was just Legends. Or did I have Legends 2? I need to go on my old computer and look for my Castlevania photo. Hold on a second. I'm gonna go to my Facebook page real quick. I might have, because I posted it to my Facebook page, and we're gonna check real quick on that. Yeah, see, you know, I tell you guys I don't collect. I've got flash cards, but the fact is I am still collecting a couple things. Like, I am trying to get all the boxed Doom games. So I pretty much got all of them except for the Game Boy Advance versions and the original 3-episode mail-in version of the PC game. And then same with PC games. I've been buying big box PC games over the last year and a half. And so I built up a nice little big box PC collection. So I still buy stuff, but I still mostly rely on my flash carts for, you know, the streams and the videos and stuff like that. more modern consoles like PS2 and GameCube, I still, you know, Xbox, I still buy original games for that. So I have about 17 original GameCube games right now. I'm looking for my Castlevania collection. I'm pretty sure I posted it to my Facebook page. We're getting back in the years now, so I think I'm getting close to where it would be. Wherever it would be, where is it? Here it is. Okay, I did not have Legends and I did not have Belmont's Revenge, so it's pretty much just that. And yeah, it was pretty much just that and X68000. So let me see if I can get a link for that so I can show it to you guys. Let's see if that works for you guys. Yeah, that should work. There you go. Now, anyone that has Facebook, feel free to follow that page. You know, I try to post pictures and stuff like that. And, yeah, so that was, I had all that until, early 2015, basically. I ended up selling the stuff because, Brandon told me that he was going to be moving out. And I wish I held on to it. I realize now I could have actually done without selling that stuff. And now a lot of it's gone up in price. Like, Dracula X on Super Nintendo is almost doubled in price. The N64 ones have gone up a tiny bit. Not by much. I think the original Castlevania on NES has gone up a little bit. Bloodlines has, like, tripled since I had that. I think I ended up selling it for like 50 or 60. It's like $130 now or something like that. Yeah, old boxes. I mean, I try to get old boxes with like the inner packing materials and stuff like that. That way the boxes remain firm. Like, and there's also video game box protectors as well. And so the games like I know I'm going to be holding on to, like I've got my Super Nintendo Doom, my Atari Jaguar Dooms in good shape. They're in video game box protectors, so they're not gonna, you know, they're not gonna get crushed or anything like that. So. Oh yeah, no, I hear you, Snoopy Clone. If I was doing a lot of cart only, I would potentially consider that. But when I'm like collecting, like really collecting for like a particular series or something like that, I want all the original boxes and whatnot. It's just a part of collecting for that specific series for me. I like having everything original, and I like having the manuals and all that stuff. So yeah, that's my Castlevania collection, guys. I'll post it again in case anyone missed it. The two red boxes at the top, they were called the Castlevania Collection. It's a soundtrack collection. It was actually a pirated box set somebody made up in the early 2000s. They released like I guess it was like anywhere from like 50 to 100 of them or something like that. And I just held on to them over the years. Actually, it was one of the few things that I held on to, and because you just never saw them for sale. I mean, really, they don't have a whole lot of collectible value because technically they were all pirates, basically. But It was still neat. It had like this custom artwork and whatnot for the boxes. It was pretty cool. So... Thanks, Miku. I know it was amazing, but I no longer have it. It's sad. And that wasn't the first time I had a big Castlevania collection like that. In the early 2000s, I also built a Castlevania collection, and I ended up selling that when I was having financial issues in like 2007 or something, when I made the dumb mistake of quitting one of my jobs back then, which don't ever do. Always have something else lined up before you quit a job, but I wasn't so smart, you know, 10 years ago. Yeah, that would have put me at about 25 back then. Definitely a little more arrogant back then.
Extreme G Race fans, welcome to Thunder.
Tony, I mean, I saw your collection, man. I mean, you've got a small collection, but you've got a lot of really good, like, AAA titles, man. Like, I technically have more games than you, but, you know, someone would look at my collection and be like, well, there's not a whole lot of appealing games in that collection, you know? I mean, it's a lot of games I've personally played, but I don't have a lot of, like, AAA titles in my collection, aside from, like, the copies of Doom and my PS1 shooters and things like that, so... And your collection will grow, man. You're always looking for stuff. I'm not always looking for stuff. I get depressed and then I buy lots of stuff. I go through phases like that. These last couple of weeks was one of those phases. But now I need to pull it back a little bit. I don't need to buy stuff, really. Although some of the stuff I did buy this past week or two was for the channel and was for the stream, like my PS1 shmups, you know. There's still a couple more PS1 shmups I need to get. Thunder Force 5 is one of them. Shinryu is another. Trying to think what else I need. We were talking about the other night. Mobile Light Force. I have to get that. That's a cheap one. I'm gonna look on eBay for that. I think that might be it. Oh, Philosoma. That's right. And then we can potentially do a shmups from worst to best video for PS1 shooters. I was originally going to do Genesis shooters first, but I was like, I kind of want to get knock the PS1 shooters out of the way because there's less, and I'm more familiar with a lot of them. Okay, so this is still another 2-lap track. Not breaking the sound barrier yet, so we're not fast enough yet. Alright, gotta almost be there. And that's gonna do it. Oh, gotcha, Tony. Gotcha, Tony. Well, Marcelo, Star Fox 2 has been around for a long time. There's been ways to play that for a very long time. It is cool to see Nintendo actually releasing it on the Super Nintendo Mini, and supposedly they had a full, complete version of the game, whereas like the ROM hacks floating around the internet were like 95% complete at best. So I haven't seen Unholy Night. I think I saw someone talking about it, and yeah, I actually don't really pay a whole lot of attention to a lot of the new retro stuff coming out, just because there's so much old retro stuff still for me to play. But it is cool that, you know, those things are still coming out, and then new games are being discovered, new games are being produced. You know, it's a good time to be a classic style gamer. Major Havoc, I would gladly take those off your hands, man. I don't really need them per se, but I would take them and I would play them on stream. Frogger 2 would probably be fun to play as well. Like, I've seen videos on it. You know, I was actually playing Galaga Destination Earth yesterday on PS1. Not very good. But then I also played Space Invaders on PS1, which was, it was okay. I ended up running through the game twice, and it was moderately enjoyable. So I could see myself playing Centipede on stream, which I did have on Dreamcast and PC, and then trying Frogger 2, and then Pitfall 3D as well. I would play Kiss Pinball for like 2 minutes just to show people how bad it is. Yeah, I don't have Kiss Pinball right now. I've had it a couple times over the years though, and it's just absolutely horrible. It's easily the worst pinball game on PS1. Game collection tour video. Yeah, Georgia, the thing is, I actually did a room tour video about 6 or 7 months ago, and that basically is a collection video, you know, because I don't really have a huge collection, although technically I have more games now than I did when I did that video, so I could see myself doing a follow-up. No, that's totally okay, Major Havoc. Absolutely, man. I'll gladly take them off your hands. See, I want that shield boost. He goes, Kiss Pinball sounds amazing. It's only amazing in the worst way imaginable. You can see we've actually got a long ways to go. There's 250G, 1000G, and then it's actually possible it tracks you beating the game with every single class as well. It's the only thing I can think of. Oh yeah, I have Kiss Psycho Circus, Georgia. I actually played that a lot back in the day. I used to really enjoy that game, but I played it again recently, and it hasn't aged the best. Big part of it is that it's just a buggy mess on modern systems. But even then, some of the map design and so forth is very unfair. It's very glitchy, very buggy.
Extreme G race fan.
Yeah, even Major Havoc says Kiss Pinball sucks. Excite Truck on the Wii. Oh, Excite Truck was great. Yeah, when I discovered that game, I was like, man, why didn't I play this game sooner? I think I paid like $5 for it. See, that's one of those instances where, like, you don't pay a whole lot for a game, but you get pleasantly surprised by what you get. And Excite Truck is one of those games that is just really awesome, especially for the price. It would have been awesome as a launch game on the Wii, but I didn't play it until it was like a $5 game on the used market, which was like 2010, 2011 probably. You know, about 3 or 4 years after it came out. I want to get Excite Bots Racing also. I hear that's pretty good. I think I might actually have Excite Truck in my library again. I need to, if that's the case, I need to do a stream on it. Sounds like we got some trance in the background. It's the first time I heard trance in this this game. Alright, so there's gonna be a jump up here. I'm just gonna skip it. I think you can just go straight down. Yeah, like this. I think this is probably the longer way to go, but you run the risk of not making the jump and dying, which is bad, obviously. I'd rather not die in this game. Got it. Hey, Zerdo! Oh yeah, Stock, like, I totally agree, man. I think the Wii has a lot of great games on it. And lots of really interesting, like, obscure stuff that people just passed over when they were new. So it's gonna have one of those libraries that, people are going to be discovering new games on the Wii that are good, like, I swear, decades down the road. It had, because it had a lot of shovelware, but then it also had a lot of other stuff people just dismissed as shovelware, when in reality it potentially wasn't shovelware. Like, it was actually like some decent software. But that's going to be the interesting thing with the Wii as time goes on. All right, so let's go back and yeah. So it doesn't look like I can afford the shield boost yet. I'm just gonna do another race and get the shield boost after that. Yeah, I agree, Snoopy clone, definitely. Yeah, Zerto, the music is actually really solid in this game. They picked good tunes. I mean, it's all licensed music from like underground electronic dance music. But they definitely picked really good tracks for this game that really fits. Georgia says all they hear is motor noises. Yeah, the motor noise is a little bit louder than I wanted it to be. Yeah, we might not start breaking the sound barrier until we're on the next class. See, like, this is a good way of doing rain effects. Like, you'll notice that, like, the rain's splattering against the camera, but it's not obstructing your view like it does in Fast Racing RMX or Fast Racing Neo. Like, I didn't even realize there was rain splattering against the camera until just a few moments ago. I heard the rain noise. I was like, oh, there's rain against the camera. Like, that's a good way. If you're gonna do, like, those in-your-face effects, environmental effects in a racing game, make it subtle like this. Like, that's cool. But Fast Racing RMX was just way over the top with the effects like that. Like, you could, like, it obstructed your view, even though, like, you weren't racing from the cockpit, where it might actually make sense. It was kind of dumb. Okay, so we just got another engine, new speed class. There we go. Let's see if we break the sound barrier now. You see, I keep avoiding these weapons because I want to keep upgrading my engine. And that's the only thing about it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get this... Oh, I can't even buy the leech. Oh, that sucks. So the leech will actually steal energy from enemies, which will give you boost energy back, or shield energy back. Boom blocks in the sequel. I never saw those. I'll have to check them out. Yeah, they could, Marcelo. I totally agree. Although it'll probably never happen because it was, you know, this was developed by one of Acclaim's in-house studios back then. So, like, this was one of those games that was actually developed by Acclaim. And Acclaim pretty much folded a while ago, and all their properties just got crapped out to different companies, I'm guessing. Hell, some of their properties might even just be in limbo. Who knows who owns them? I wonder who owns the rights to Extreme G. Hey, see ya, Major. Marcelo, I think you're talking about Redout. And apparently it's also coming to PS4, and it might already be out on PC. Acclaim wasn't that bad. People like to give Acclaim crap, but like some of their stuff was awful, but some of their stuff was really good too. Like, I don't look at Acclaim quite as negatively as like other people do. If it weren't for Acclaim, we wouldn't have gotten Galactic Attack or Darius Gaiden on the Sega Saturn in North America. Two of the primary shooters in the system. They're both phenomenal shmups. Obviously the Turok games on PC and N64. We got the Extreme G games. We got a lot of, you know, decent ports back in the day of arcade stuff. You know, they got the rights to that stuff. Acclaim's not, you know, all that bad. They've got bad stuff, but a lot of companies have bad stuff. I mean, you can look at some Konami stuff from the mid-90s and on, and some Capcom stuff from the mid-90s and on. There's a lot of crap with all the popular companies. Acclaim probably had more crap than the other companies did, but they also had a lot of good stuff too. Let's see. There we go.
Warning, shield.
We just broke the sound barrier. So that actually starts happening more and more often. Ooh, now we actually got people just getting killed. Oh, including myself. And it's just like F-Zero where it says retired. Oh yeah, you guys haven't heard of an Acclaim game in 10 years because Acclaim hasn't been around in 10 years. When did Acclaim go out of business? They went out of business a while ago. It's been a while. There you go, Snoopy clone. NBA Jam. Hell yeah. See, that's one of those examples where, you know, Acclaim put out something good. Alright, let's try not to die this time. Oh, I still love NBA Jam. It's a great series. I don't play sports games, but arcade sports games, they almost don't even feel like sports games to me, you know? It's very over the top, very fast-paced, very simple a lot of times. Lots of good arcade sports games on Neo Geo. Lots of good arcade sports games by Midway back in the day, like the NHL Hits, the NFL Blitz, the NBA Jam. Even before that, they made arch rivals. Actually, that was more Atari games, but by the mid-90s, they just sort of, Midway and Atari games were pretty much the same company. They got absorbed into one another. Yeah, so the AI is a lot more aggressive now. So this is where the game starts to become much more of a challenge. Oh, and it's 3 laps now. It's not just 2 laps. That's so cool. That's so cool. It's even better when you're just playing this game by yourself and you got the volume cranked up. It's one of those games that it's best played loud. You've got like the lights on the sides. Every time they go by you, they make like a whooshing sound, like shh. So it's definitely a very audio-oriented game. Sega Soccer Slam. I remember a lot of people liking that when it came out. I never did play it though. I think I might have it on the original Xbox. I'm gonna check real quick. Hold on. No, I didn't buy it on the Xbox. Okay. Because it eventually came out on, to the Xbox as well, which is interesting. I'm gonna go with that shield boost. Yeah, I never saw Sega Soccer. for the Genesis. I didn't play any Sega sports game on the Genesis, actually. I played some Master System sports games, and some of them are kind of crappy. But I never did play any Genesis sports games, not counting, you know, the arcade sports games like NBA Jam. Actually, come to think of it, I think NBA Jam was the only sports game I ever played on Genesis. And like I said, I don't really consider those, you know, traditional sports games. It's arcade games, arcade sports games. I am definitely not the kind of person to ever buy like a legitimate traditional sports game. Never have, never will. It's just not really what I'm into. I don't watch sports, I don't follow sports, I don't care about sports. And so that kind of translates to, you know, video game sports titles as well. Now, you know, what's funny is, like, you know, if someone came to me and was like, hey, you want to play some basketball? I'd be like, oh yeah, I'll play some basketball. And, you know, I like playing the sports because it's interactive at that point, you know. But I'm not a fan of watching sports. I'm not a fan of even playing video game sports. It's got to be arcade-style sports games for me when it comes to video game sports games, because they're way, way more fast-paced than, like, the simulation sports games are. I feel like I'm actually doing something on arcade sports titles, whereas I don't get that feeling when I'm playing, like, Madden 2017 version 37. Yeah, so I love me some NBA Jam, though. I love me some of the Neo Geo sports games. Good times, good times. Nice, got him. I don't know if you get any extra cash for blowing up enemies in this game. If anyone knows, post a comment below if you're watching this on the archive. Or post something in chat if you know. I think there's a lot of people out there watching right now that have never actually played this game. They're all like, this game's so pretty. I wish I knew about it. Not really sure what that shield canister did for me. Sure doesn't seem like a lot. Got it. First place again. Miku, like, I don't really consider racing games like sports games in the traditional sense. Like, I don't know. Like I can play more simulation oriented racing games. You know, like how we were playing a NASCAR game on stream a few weeks back, just for grins. But and I don't mind stuff like that. And like I had a F1 World Grand Prix on Dreamcast, which that might be the N64 one you're talking about. But I do enjoy those, but ultimately I do still prefer the arcade style racing games more than the simulation oriented racing games. But I'll definitely get down with like an F1 based racing game, or you know, something more sim oriented. Yeah, well, see, like, they're absolutely sports, but, like, in video game form, I don't look at them as sports games, you know? I mean, racing games, no matter the type, they're always relatively fast-paced, and they're fast, you know? There's some adrenaline to be had in video games. Racing titles, even if they're simulation oriented. I don't get that adrenaline rush from like a basketball game or a golf game, especially not a golf game, or a football game or something like that. You know what I mean? But no, and you know, they're absolutely real sports, but I don't really look at video game racing titles as sports games. You know, I just classify them as racing games. Yeah, so when I say like sports games, I mean stuff like, you know, the football, the basketball, the golf, the rugby, stuff like that. And then I subcategorize that with arcade sports games. And then that's, in that case, I'm talking about the NFL Blitz, the Hits, the NBA Jams and stuff like that. The Sega Soccer Slam, things like that. Oh yeah, Virtua Tennis is a ton of fun. Yeah, see, Mario Golf could... It seems like it could potentially be pretty fun. It seemed like an arcade-style golf game. And I hear a lot of those Mario sports games are kind of like that, more arcade-style. And you know, I'm kind of sad to say I haven't really given them a try. Someone's dropping some mines. Oh, I think someone's got a railgun too. See, that's one thing you gotta worry about with the AIs. They start getting the good weapons too. And then so you become at risk. Big time. The fully charged railgun, I think, might even be able to blow someone up in one hit. Or maybe it's multiple hits, I don't remember. Yeah, we're not going to place very high, because I'm out of boost. So this is where having a leech power up would definitely do me some good, because then I can leech energy off these guys and then turn that into boost power. Since I'm so close to a lot of these guys all the time, it would be really useful to have that. So we got 4th place. I don't know what the requirement was. I guess we'll find out. Have I played Beach Spikers for the GameCube? I have not. I forgot about that one, actually. That sounds like a good one to try to pick up sometime. Oh, later, Marcelo. I didn't see you were heading out. No, that's actually not how it works to be cloned. The weapon system is not based on what you bought. I haven't bought any weapons yet. I'm still using the stock weapon, so yeah, they've got access to railguns, rear mines, things like that. And the weapons has weapon ammo in this. I'm sorry, weapon energy is actually separate from your shield energy in this game. So on the left-hand side, you've got weapon energy, and that shouldn't take away from your shield energy on the right. Your shield energy is... your boosting takes away from your shield energy, I should say. Oh, unless you're talking Beach Spikers, I don't know. Does Beach Spikers have weapons? I'll have to check into that and see how much it is. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna, just out of curiosity, I'm gonna go to Starland's website, see what it sells for. Wow, it was only released on GameCube on consoles. I'm gonna buy that because it's an exclusive, basically. I want more exclusives on GameCube. Yeah, I'll definitely buy that. Virtua Beach Volleyball is what they call it. It was an arcade game, so... Yeah, that sounds like fun, Snoopy Clone. I'll pick that up. Thanks for the heads up. Alright, well, it looks like I... still progressed. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have the money for anything. And I still haven't picked up the weapon scoop yet. I can't really sell anything either. I think I could probably sell one of my engines, but... No. Shield scoops, shield boost. I don't even think the shield boost is doing anything. Advanced energy storage capacitor. Yeah, I really don't think it's doing anything. Atradaitoshi. This is the tune with lots of acid lines in it. Bubbly, synthy goodness. The only issue with this is that I might get some copyright claims on this stream, because this is technically licensed music by Ministry of Sound, so they might have all this stuff in the YouTube Content ID system. And since I'm not talking that much over it, like there's long periods of time where it's just me focusing on the race, I might not actually get to monetize this stream at all. That's okay. I'm having a good time playing this game. It's an awesome game. Like I said, I definitely recommend checking this game out if you like futuristic racers. Yeah, using your weapons does not drain your shield energy. Okay. Gotta be careful here. Yeah, you can probably tell that the game is a lot faster now. And we end up getting even faster than this. Like, I recall the game getting so fast to the point where it was hard to actually stay off the wall. First place. Miku, you might want to watch some videos in Extreme G2 before you buy a copy. Not that it's going to cost you much money. I'm guessing Extreme G2 is still just like a couple bucks. Yeah, but you might want to look at it and be like, do I like this frame rate? Yeah, so I think what I'm going to do now is, I think I can afford it. There it is, leech. We're going to do the leech. So this is going to let me steal energy from enemies that are, you know, right up front. Sorry, right ahead of me. Oh, yeah, someone just used the railgun on me. It took away a quarter of my energy. Shield energy. Actually, it was more like a third of it. So I just sucked some of their energy back. Oh yeah. Leech was a good idea. Got some of that energy back that I lost. I really like the constant like ups and downs on this this game, but it's like it's smooth bumps or smooth. I don't even know how to put it because I'm brain dead. It's like a smooth roller coaster ride. It's not so jerky to where like it's almost like you get motion sickness from it. It's like nice and smooth, and I really dig that. F-Zero does that really well too. Although in F-Zero, I think the courses aren't usually as, you know, long. Oops, I hit B for some reason. Like, look at this right here, like super long straightaway. You just have to turn a teensy tiny bit. It's just. Then I just realized I was upside down. It's really cool. I dig it. I remember the earlier Extreme G games, parts 1 and 2, having all these like really tight turns, and it was kind of clunky. They went for like the opposite approach with this game, with really smooth track designs. And there's still some parts on a lot of tracks where you have to know when to brake and things like that, when to turn sharply. It feels like, to a degree, like the racing in this is almost more about the endurance than it is like just the constant, you know, how much you can put up with the constant sharp turns and things like that. Especially since everyone's got weapons, and the weapons are pretty dangerous in this game. Once you get a few classes up, the weapons are very, very dangerous. Snoopy clone, I'm not sure. I mean, like, when I'm going up a hill, I always hold back. And when I'm going down a hill, I always hold forward. But, you know, to be honest, I don't know if it actually makes a difference. Like, you can pull your bike back and forward. But again, I don't know if it actually makes a real-world speed difference. Yeah, Tony, it definitely has a few turns. Oh yeah, look at that. You can see I'm totally upside down. That's so cool. Yeah, it definitely throws some turns at you, Tony, that just seem to come out of nowhere. I was sort of predicting them, you know, since I did play this game a lot back in the day. You know, a lot of this has come back to me as I've been playing it on this stream. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to save the engine for the next one. And I'm going to go ahead and try to get the weapon scoop. Oh, I can't afford it. Damn it. I'll do the weapon bank. Oh, I almost killed him. Well, I'm doing really bad on the rankings right now. 9th. We're on lap 2 already. 2 of 3. I need to focus on getting back up in those ranks. That's awful. I was sucking his energy, but he hit me with rear mines. Yeah, this is a really cool course. Wow. I really came back on that one. That was good. Tony hates his keyboard. It looks so refreshing. Yeah, it's really cool. You go underwater, and then as you go up, you can see like the top, you know, where the water meets the air. It's really cool. Lots of stuff I didn't really notice back in the day. Alright, what kind of money do we have? Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Looks like we had a little hiccup in the connection. Hopefully that doesn't split the archive into two. Sometimes it does that. I think that's actually the first time that's happened on our YouTube stream on my main desktop here. So I'm going through Ethernet with this desktop, and my internet connection is pretty solid for the most part. You know, high speeds, pretty consistent. You got a swimming pool. No, Georgia, you can't without re-downloading them and then re-uploading them. YouTube does have their custom video editor, but you can only combine clips within a certain time length. Like, I think if it's over like an hour, you can't combine multiple clips together. So like, I wouldn't be able to combine multiple stream parts together. I mean, I'm not too worried about it. It's just a live stream. People don't really care about them as much as... I assume people don't care about them as much as my other content anyway. Actually, what's kind of funny though is my stream archives have been getting more views than my normal Let's Plays lately, which is interesting. Maybe not over time, but over the you know, the first couple weeks, like the live streams seem to get more views than my actual Let's Plays do. Man, that does not give you much boost at all. It only gave you about half my shield back. In F-Zero-X and GX, it would have given me probably my entire shield back. I mean, the great thing about the boost in this game is you can taper it. You just really just lightly tap it. And that's the key to letting it last, but it would be really nice if you could refresh or replenish more of it. Now, I think I'm pretty much safe, regardless. I mean, I do have to still keep boosting. But for the most part, I think I'm good. I mean, I'm in first place. Not smashing into walls or anything. It's a pretty easy course, it seems. Nice wide open turns. Oh, there is someone right behind me though, so I do have to keep boosting. Got to keep just tapping the boost lightly. I'm beginning to wonder if this game only runs at 30 frames a second. It's hard to tell. It's got this motion blur effect, which might give it the illusion that it's running at 60, but it's actually not. It's hard to say. Hey, Sleeves of War, what's going on, man? The G's are extreme. Yeah, we've been going for a little over 2 hours now. We've been having a pretty good time with the game. Making really good progress. Resting extreme. Extreme resting, part 3. The next hit by Acclaim. Ooh, that was close. Whoa, that just stopped me dead in my tracks. So apparently when someone slams into you from behind, they really boost you forward, which is nice. Just sucked a lot of life out of that guy. Oh no! Oh, it sucks. I was in the lead. Oh, that sucks. I'm sorry, Georgia. Were you on vacation this past week or something? I was actually on vacation all this week, and I go back to work on Sunday. All right, you guys. Salt in the wounds, salt in the wounds. Oh, I didn't tell you guys. I actually went back the next day and played GX on Twitch, and I ended up beating that final cup. And then tried to make some progress on expert mode, but it didn't work all too well. Oh, you just work on weekends. Gotcha, Georgia. I didn't know that.
Welcome to Megalopus 7. Riders, prepare to race.
That was such a good race before, too. I was really focused. Made some really good turns. You know, it'd be cool if they did it like the opposite of F-Zero, where like the faster you went over those shield recovery parts of the track, like it would actually give you more shield back. It's like it would be beneficial to go over it as fast as possible instead of slowing down to try to gather more. Especially with how it's set right now, where it doesn't really give you much to begin with. Okay, we're gonna take the easy way. Ah. Why did I have to fall off the track last time? I was doing so well. Now I'm out of shield. I can't boost. I'm still getting hit. By what? I don't know. These guys are just boosting right ahead of me. Retired. GX is pretty fast. I mean, Extreme G3 is a fast game too, and we're still gonna, you know, we're still gonna go faster as we increase, go through these cups. Like, I don't even think we're on the 1000G circuit yet. Yeah, unlike the F-Zero games, this actually gets faster the you know, farther you progress into the game. Very much like Wipeout. Like, Wipeout gets faster the farther you go into, like, the campaign mode or the league mode or whatever. And like I was telling people earlier tonight, you can actually break the sound barrier. I'd demonstrate it right now, but I don't want to waste all my boost power. Nice, just suck that guy's energy dry. Yeah, the leech is a really good weapon. Or ability. There we go, got another guy. Unfortunately, I lost a lot of that shield I just recovered because I ran into those mines. Alright, I think we're good. That's where I died last time. Oh yeah, that's it. Whew. I'm not sure where this game was developed. I don't know if it was... I think it might have been developed by their European studio. But it is licensed music from the Ministry of Sound. You know, it's a music label, and it features a variety of stuff. There's jungle, there's, I think, hard house, there's trance, there's some just breakbeat stuff. There's a whole variety of music. And yeah, trance back then was heavily influenced by the Dutch artists, absolutely. I like that era of trance a lot. But yeah, it's got a variety of music. It's not just all trance, you know. Again, there's some jungle and drum and bass and breakbeats and some hard house and some trance. There's actually not as much trance as there is other stuff in the game. Oh yeah! Get those beats. Beats, beats, beats. Still can't afford the weapon scoop. Yeah, you can see the logos throughout the game. Yeah, I really dig the soundtrack in this game, but for totally different reasons than I dig, like, the F-Zero soundtrack, you know? I used to be a hobbyist DJ. I had my own, Pioneer CDJ decks, and, you know, that was actually a big hobby of mine for about 5 years. I took pretty seriously, kind of like I, you know, take my YouTube stuff seriously, and, you know, it was actually the YouTube stuff that kind of... Well, YouTube in a combination, kind of like a double whammy. It was YouTube and then pinball. The combination of that just completely got me out of, you know, following the electronic music and doing hobbyist DJ stuff. Ah, those mines, they suck. Dude, everyone's using mines now. Jesus, man. It sucks. Like, you get on a roll and you slam into a bunch of mines, it just stops you dead in your tracks. But it also dishes out the damage, too. Like, I lost a lot of shield energy because of those mines. Now, we're still in 3rd place. We got a chance. I don't know how I'm going to do it because there's no more shield energy. Yeah, I'm out of boost power. Oh, we might have gotten it. We did. Wow, that was close. Oh, is Georgia out? Take care, Georgia, if you're still there. Tony, would I continue to pursue the DJ stuff again? Probably not. I picked up another set of decks last summer, actually, and I only used it like 2 or 3 times, and then that was it. And I put it back in the box just recently, so I don't know. Maybe if I was in a different living situation, like I had my own house, but being in the apartment, I can't do that kind of hobby when I want because it requires you to be loud, and I've just got so many other things right now that you know, that vie for my time, basically. Alright. Position required, 5. Oh, I can already tell we're faster now. This is without boosting. Dude, too many of these guys are using mines. It's really annoying. It's really obnoxious. At this point, it becomes more of an obstacle course, less of an actual race. Yeah, see, look at that. Hey, Mark's back. Bad, Miko. Bad, bad. Punishment. I did pretty awful in that course. Still can't buy the railgun. I'm thinking at this point I gotta play more aggressively. All right. Yeah, Sleeves, there's some good looking stuff in this game. You know, I was talking about it when I first started the stream, but this game was released in 2001, so pretty solid looking game for 2K1. I wonder how well the 4-player split screen runs. Apparently you can do 4-player split screen. Whoa, that was close. Gonna have to watch out for that drop. Ah. Yeah, I'm not gonna win this one. Yeah, you guys can probably see what I'm talking about now, where I mentioned earlier, there's a point where you get so fast where it's difficult to actually stay off the walls. That's kind of where I'm at right now. But there's still a couple more engines to get, so we're still gonna go even faster by the time it's all said and done. Oh, that was close. Go off the course and it's an instant death. Wow, we're still in 6th too. I think he just blew up. No, because I'm still in 6th. Damn, 4th place. That sucks. Oh well. Zerto, there are no brakes in this game. You have to just let go of the gas, which is what I've been doing. Wow, do I have to get like top 3 or something? Oh, you gotta get 2nd place or better. Wow. Man, that sucks. Yeah, a lot of modern racers require you to drift and slide, which is... It's a cool mechanic, but... I'm not a huge fan of how, like, it seems like every game needs to have a drift mechanic. I like some of these older racers where you want to take the turns nice and smooth, and in some cases cut them as close as possible without, you know, power sliding. Like, this doesn't have any power sliding. Funny enough, XGRA, oops. XGRA, the sequel to this, actually does have power sliding, depending on the ship you pick, or the bike you pick. I mean, I most certainly don't mind, like, power sliding. It's just, I would like to see more racing games, you know, mix up the style of turning. Jeez, one lap down, we're only in 9th place. It's awful. I thought picking the engine upgrade would be a good choice, but it doesn't look like it. Maybe it's because I keep smacking into the walls, I don't know. Yeah, it feels like with these higher engine levels, my grip has just completely gone to hell. Yeah, I was making nice, long, smooth turns earlier, and it's really difficult to do that now. Alright, this, this organization should ban these mines. Look at that. It's so annoying. You know, it's funny, as I'm going so fast, this is almost turning into a power sliding kind of game. Broke the sound barrier at the last moment. Kinetica. Sleeves, yeah, actually I own Kinetica. I haven't put a ton of time into that game, but I have enjoyed what I've played so far. You know, that's one of those ones we should probably play on stream sometime. Maybe keep the futuristic racing theme going and just do it next week. Alright, well at least we got first place. I was probably going to drop off if I failed to get first or second on that one. Yeah, so we're up to 750 Gs right now. I think you start at like 200 Gs. So that kind of gives you an idea of like how much faster you are now versus the very beginning. Finally buy the weapon scoop. Still can't buy the railgun. I need to save some of my money for the next engine upgrade. Okay, so we got two people that would like to see that. I'll have to think about it. I'm sure people would like to see me suck at that game. A lot of these games I stream, they're games I played before, but Kinetica would be a game where I've only played it very briefly. Oh, what just happened? What did I get hit by? That was weird. Nice. Nice. There's 3 people I want to see Connecticut. Okay. Yeah, I wonder what this game sells for now. Let's do a quick eBay check. $7.40 for disc only. Actually, about $6 for disc only. $8.50 for the game and case, no manual. Let's see this one. This one might be complete. Let's see. Nope, that one's not complete. And wow, that's all scratched up. That's like $8. Looks like you're looking at about $14 now for a complete copy. Still in average condition. The cheapest one I'm looking at complete is $14, but it's got the old GameStop stickers on them. Although there is a bundle where you get Extreme G3 and Burnout 2 for $15. That's a good deal. Burnout 2 is an awesome game. Wow, there's not a lot of copies on eBay. Really? I mean, there's a lot more, like, from Europe. It's weird. Did the game sell better over there? Of course, let me do... Yeah, it actually looks like you're looking at about 12 bucks now. 12 to 15 for a decent condition one. 7 or 8 if you want disc only. Let's go to East Starland. Yeah, sorry guys, I'm not actually capturing the eBay check this time, but I am looking it up for you. You could get it on PlayStation 2 though for $6 complete. Starland has it for $6 complete, so you could probably get it the same price on eBay. Where's the GameCube one? They've got XGRA for Xbox. Do I have XGRA on Xbox? If I don't, I should go buy that. I have to double check. Yeah, it looks like Starland would sell Extreme G3 for 10 bucks, so it looks like their price has gone up a little bit, and then XGRA would be 12 through them. So it's gone up a little bit. It's still pretty cheap, all things considered. Nice sleeves. I need to revisit the Burnout series. I think I have, let's see which Burnout I have. I have to check my collection list again, so just give me a couple minutes. I have Burnout 3 Takedown on Xbox. Yeah, so I want to get Burnout 1 and 2, and I want to get Burnout Revenge. Tony, it's only going for it if it's actually sold at that price. So please don't say it's going for it. Say it's listed for $690. And then tell yourself it's never going to sell, okay? Just don't waste your time, don't waste your breath, don't waste your brain cells, don't waste your text looking at crap like that, alright? Well, you can look at it, skim by it, but don't even think about it, don't even type about it, just ignore it. Because it's just gonna sit there for years and years and years. There you go, Tony. I'm gonna teach you how to eBay right, Tony. And how to ignore the crap. And just accept the good stuff. And this goes for anyone else out there watching. Yeah, a friend of mine actually brought Takedown over, and I was really impressed by it. And so I went out and bought a copy for myself the next day because, you know, it's cheap. It's cheap, so I like good cheap games. Good cheap games are my favorite games. So we're at 900 Gs now. I don't think we're gonna get to 1,000 before I'm done with this stream. MT Shark's a good eBayer. That's good, Mark. That's good, man. I'm gonna learn you, Tony. Gonna learn you on how to eBay. Y'all. Jeez, I'm fast. I'm not even boosting. I've already broken the sound barrier. Having a really hard time keeping off the walls. Man, come on. Out of shield. Ugh. Ran into a mine. Ah, yeah, good. We're gonna lose this one. Shoot, man. Ah. Oh yes! Retired right before the exit, right before the finish line. That's some skill right there, guys. Oh man. Alright guys, I think that's gonna do it for me. That is Extreme G3. Pretty close to what I'm guessing is probably the end of the game, at least with just you know, that one team I was using. I've never actually beaten the game, but I'm pretty sure I got to about that point way back in the day. What we're gonna do is chill out for another 5 minutes with some relaxed GameCube menu music, and if you guys have any questions or last minute comments or anything like that, I can stick around for a couple minutes in chat. Yeah, basically what I'm going to do is I have to try to flip my sleep schedule. I've been on vacation this last week from work, and since I work the overnight shift, I actually flipped my sleep schedule back to a normal day cycle. So I need to try to stay up all night tonight, and so what I want to do is try to stream over at Twitch with some tasty beverages in hand that will hopefully keep me going all night, so I can hopefully get my sleep schedule back in the right track, so when I go back to work Sunday, I don't fall asleep on the job. Tony, I did not stream last night. I meant to, but by the time that my friend left, I was wiped out. I ended up it was like 10 or 10:30, and I decided to just watch a couple episodes of the X-Files, eat some dinner, and then pass out. So I ended up passing out around midnight or 1 a.m. last night. Yay, tasty time. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the stream. I'm going to go feed the cat, eat some more pizza that I've got left over from earlier, just to fill my stomach back up. And then I'm going to go over to Twitch probably in about... It'll probably take me about 20 minutes to get a stream fired up on Twitch. And then we'll be doing that for the rest of the night. But Extreme G3, it's a really fun game. I dig it. Like I said, I highly recommend checking it out if you got a GameCube or a Wii. You don't necessarily need a GameCube. As long as you got a backwards compatible Wii, you can play this game. And apparently, if you've got a hacked Wii U with the homebrew channel on it, you can also apparently run GameCube ISOs on that. So technically, there's 3 different ways, or 4 different ways if you want to do GameCube emulation on your PC, that you could play that game. It's also on PlayStation 2, but like I said, the frame rate's not as good. The visuals aren't as smooth because of the aliasing issues. But yeah, you know, I was watching I started X-Files a couple years ago on Netflix, and there's so many episodes that it was kind of hard to binge like all 9 seasons. So what I did is I ended up just watching a bunch of episodes on and off. I'd go through phases where I watch a bunch like back to back, and then I take a break, like a several month break. And I was like halfway through season 5, and then I went back and it was gone. It got delisted from Netflix. I was like, son of a... fortunately, my mom has the entire series on Blu-ray and DVD, so I was able to borrow seasons 5 through 9 from her. So I actually just finished season 5 last night, so I'm going to start season 6 sometime this weekend, most likely. So... Fun show. I like it. I dig it. You know, I used to watch it back in the day with my parents when I was a kid. But watching it as an adult is really fun. Since it was a show geared towards adults, it wasn't geared towards kids. But I enjoy it. Tony, don't you have a wife, man? So yeah, like I said, Extreme G3, guys, you know, really solid game, really fun game. It fits nicely among the rest of the awesome futuristic racers out there. Not that there's a ton of great futuristic racers. I mean, it's kind of like a small subgenre within a subgenre. I mean, it's kind of like like an arcade style racer. I don't know, but then it's futuristic, and you got boosting and stuff like that. And you don't really have a ton of really good futuristic racers. I mean, the early Wipeout games are good. Extreme G3 is good. Obviously, the F-Zero series. And in recent years, some would say fast racing, and I kind of put that towards the bottom of the tiers, or at the bottom of the tier, because like it's more style over substance. And F-Zero is always F-Zero, Wipeout, and Extreme G3 in particular have always, you know, had a nice balance between style and substance, you know. And that's the fun in futuristic racing games. When they get it right, they look awesome, they sound awesome, but they also play awesome, and they're a ton of fun, and they're fast. But I can't really think of too many other futuristic racing games that are really worth a darn. Right on, Sleeves. Well, I hope to see you next week, man. It's great to see you guys on a regular basis. We actually didn't really have that many people tune in tonight. I think the highest amount of people we had tonight was 19, and as far as actual chatters, it was probably about 7 or 8 different people throughout the night. Tony, Miku, and Georgia were pretty much the staples the entire stream, and then Sleeves, you jumped in towards the last quarter. MT Shark was here towards the beginning and then jumped in towards the end. And then we had a couple of other folks in between, but we did not have a huge turnout this week, and you know, that's what happens when you play games like this, you know, that people don't know a whole lot about. Like if I played Castlevania or if I played Mega Man, we probably would have had a solid 30 to 35 people watching at any given moment tonight. But you know, once we start playing games like this, the viewers sort of drop off, which is a bit of a shame, because there's some really cool games to be had here, and Extreme G3 is definitely one of them that I highly recommend. So it's all good, Sleeves. Hey, you dropped in, man. And to anybody watching after the fact on the archive, feel free to drop a comment below and let me know you stopped in, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the stream, even if you're watching on the archive and not during the actual live portion itself. So yeah, Miko, I mean, if you got nostalgia for the game, you should buy it. You should definitely buy it. Absolutely. And Extreme G2, I think, is only like a $5 or $7 game cartridge only. I actually stumbled upon it on I stumbled across it on Starland's website. It was like $7 cart only, and a lot of times their stuff is a little more expensive than eBay, or it's at eBay prices or more. Granted, their stuff's usually in better condition, you know. Yeah, Mark, definitely do it. And if you do it soon, because we checked eBay and the prices seem to be going up a little bit. So when I bought this game, it was about 2.5 years ago. It was shortly after I started streaming on Twitch. It was like $6 when I bought it. So in the last 2 years, it's jumped up to like a $12 to $15 game. On the GameCube. The GameCube specifically. If you get it on PlayStation 2, it's like still a $5 or $6 game. But again, the PlayStation 2 version, you're looking at more inconsistent frame rate, I believe, and much uglier graphics. And potentially twitchier controls, because you're using the PS2 analog stick, which doesn't have as much tension as the GameCube analog stick. So you might not want to pop over there, Sleeves. I'll probably be long gone by then. I mean, I'll be streaming, but I probably, yeah. I have a little alcohol in the fridge, if you know what I mean, and I'm gonna force myself to stay awake. And it's the kind of alcohol that might make me go bonkers partway through the stream. For those of you guys that watched me on Twitch a couple nights ago, you know exactly what I mean. But if not, Sleeves, we'll see you next Thursday. And so yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up here. It was still a fun stream. It was still a fun conversation, and like I said, I had a good time playing that game. You know, I haven't had a good long session with that game in a long time. So, and I think I was actually playing better than I ever have before. I think that F-Zero both the Let's Play for N64 and the streaming for GameCube really helped me out. So, but alright guys, I'm out myself. I'll hopefully see you guys next week, and I'll try to figure out what is what's on the calendar for next week. We'll see what's going on. New Let's Play to be posted on Sunday for the people on YouTube. You guys already got the video last week on Patreon, and then Patreon backers will get next week's video a week, or the week after's video a week early. So if you're on Patreon, be sure to check that. There's gonna be, it's actually gonna be a Game Boy Let's Play for the Patreon backers, and Super Nintendo Let's Play for everyone else. Patreon backers already know what I posted because they got it early. And as usual, if you're interested in that whole Patreon thing, information in the description box below. Doommersion, yeah, sorry man. We're leaving. We've been streaming for 3.5 hours now, but hopefully the archive will be up in a few hours. It usually takes YouTube quite some time to process the archive. I'm betting we're probably gonna get some copyright claims on this one because of the licensed music in the game. But I won't know until it's done processing, but we'll see. But gonna go ahead and scroll those Patreon backers once again. Thanks again for all those guys supporting there, and for those of you guys not supporting on Patreon, it's all good. Just thank you for watching in general, and enjoying my content and hanging out with me on these streams. If I didn't have you guys out here in chat, these streams would not be nearly as fun as they are. So, but have a good night, everyone. I will catch you next week. And for those of you guys that follow me on Twitch, I'll probably catch you sooner than that. So take it easy, all.